Okay, our final section of notes on cheese, we're going to start with nutritional content. This should be a pretty short video. Remember, cheese is a concentrated form of milk, so a lot of the nutrients that are in milk you're also going to find in cheese. Examples include vitamin A and vitamin B. Vitamin A helps with vision. Vitamin B helps with growth, nerves. Remember, all our B vitamins like riboflavin, thiamine, niacin, they're all in there. Minerals, calcium and phosphorus, which we know help make your bones strong. Protein, remember our protein in cheese is that casein. Fat, cheese is high in fat, but fat is good for our body. So it's important. We need it for our organs to function. We need it for energy. So it is important to have fat in our diet. Just remember in moderation. The Choose My Plate website, if you go to up here, My Plate, you could go to the dairy group. Oops, I apologize. It's a little touchy here, and go over to the dairy group and it'll take you to this page. It's showing, again, as a reminder, how much you should be having of the dairy group a day, and then what counts as a serving in the dairy group. And since we're on cheese, we'll look at this. This is showing 1.5 ounces of hard cheese as a serving. And it kind of gives it common portions and cup equivalents over here on the side. Half or third a cup of shredded, 2 ounces of processed, which is equivalent to one slice, a half a cup of like ricotta or cottage, or 2 cups of cottage cheese. So that's just kind of a way for you to measure how much cheese you're getting. And remember, we should always be looking at low-fat dairy products or made from part skim if we can. Okay, and then another thing we talked about is remembering that lactose is water soluble. So when we make cheese, the lactose actually goes away with the whey. That was our common saying, it goes away with the whey. And so really most cheese should be fairly low in lactose. This is just kind of a website explaining that. I thought it was just an interesting, succinct way of explaining that. And it's talking about, again, that there should be very little lactose in most cheese. And so cheese in general can make your stomach hurt in large amounts. And so it's just hard for our body to digest. And so that might be part of the reason that you feel uncomfortable if you eat a lot of cheese, but it's probably not due to lactose. Okay, classifications of cheese. Cheese is classified according to degree of hardness, unlike milk, which is classified by sanitation. Cheese is classified by more texture. So these are some of the basic textures. There's more classifications than this, but the 4 we're going to look at are hard, semi-soft, soft, and then processed or specialty. And so within that, the hard that we look at, Parmesan, Edam, Gouda, cheddar, and Swiss. The semi-soft Munster, which is the one with like the orange on the outside. Roquefort, which is very similar to blue cheese, but it's made from sheep's milk. Brick gets its name from its shape, and then Gorgonzola and Blue are common. The Gorgonzola is becoming a little bit more popular now, especially at like trendier restaurants. 2 of the soft cheeses that are very common are cottage cheese and cream cheese. And then the specialty and processed are, like we said, Cheese Whiz, Velveeta, stuff like that. If you go back to that website we looked at earlier, cheese.com, you can search all of these different cheeses in here. It even goes by cheese by texture, like we just talked about, which is kind of cool to break it down and see. There's more. There's semi-firm, smooth, soft, spreadable. I didn't want to go into all of those classifications, but if you're interested, you can look at them. All right, that is our cheese unit.